So Valérie, welcome. Welcome to our speaker series. In this speaker series, we're going to be talking with innovators like yourself that are evolving the craft of fashion, incorporating technology, and that takes us all forward with your learnings. So today it's all about you, and I would love to understand a bit about your background and how you started in fashion.
I started quite early because my mom was a dressmaker. I had fabrics all around me from the beginning. I always wanted to become a fashion designer, so I eventually did. I did some technical education. I studied fashion design in Vienna. And then I also worked as a designer, and then mainly later on worked as a creative pattern cutter because I love making patterns. And that's what eventually brought me to digital tools because grading in pattern making is a not very creative work, and I found it boring, so I use software for that. That brought me actually into teaching and also into Clo 3D eventually, because it was the first thing where I could actually just upload my patterns and put it on a digital person. And I was quite I loved it at the beginning very much. I also loved all the mistakes and aesthetics that came from it. When I had the feeling it reached the limits, then I thought, AI was already there. That was great.
Amazing.
Yes.
And also, like, how do you combine the other tools that you have, like the Clo 3D, the pattern making, digital pattern making, with AI?
At the moment, I think for Clo 3D, I mean, I still have a very strong computer to use it, but I found AI just very easier and quicker. Mm-hmm. So before I know what pattern I make, I just use AI until the point that I know what the design is. When I used before that, I would make quickly probably either a sketch just on the dummy, like draping, or I would make patterns actually in my pattern making software, and then either I quickly try it on Clo, or I just immediately stitch it and then continue designing on the dummy.
Mm-hmm. And now with AI, basically your kind of design process, you're doing it in AI, and when you're satisfied, which tool do you bring it next?
When I'm satisfied, there are two ways. If it's knitted, I kind of can't do it myself because I don't have the machines. Then I would ask a knitwear producer, small knitwear producer, to do a prototype for me. That's I have to pay, but it's convenient. And when it's a pattern, I start to quickly make it in pattern making software. And once I have prototype, then I put it back into AI. AI can't help me with the pattern yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Soon to come. Amazing. There is another topic that I would love to touch upon, which I know you're very passionate about, which is the on-demand production. So how do you see the tools that you have available right now facilitating this new business model?
I think on-demand production can be many things. It can be very local, or it can be somewhere else in the world, and that needs different tools. I really like the idea of having a photorealistic image of what I'm aiming at, but I think it also puts a lot of pressure on producers because my expectation is really, really high, but it also gives you something to talk about. I mean, now my producers can say, this is not possible. I can do that. And you're very quickly at arriving where you want to be, because sometimes your sketch and all your visualization is not what you want, is not near enough on what you want. And then kind of leaves the gap you don't have anymore. But also from designers, it needs a great understanding for the craftspeople that actually have to translate what you think is possible or AI thinks is possible. Mm-hmm. So that changes the demand side a little bit on the pressure on the producers, but also at the same time, it takes a little bit away this insecurity on what does the designer actually mean? What does this sketch mean? What does this mood board actually mean in a way? And I still think this cooperation with the producers is very, very important. I really like establishing long-term relationships where you work together more often. You also get to know each other, like getting to know each AI. You also have to know what your producer can do. And I think visualization help a lot to have something to talk about.
Yeah. And do you feel that now, because you're visualizing, you can put it in front of your buyers or in front of your consumers before you produce?
Depends on the buyers. I think you have people of trust and you have people you don't want to lose your face. Huh? It is possible, but also when I create something, if it's really great, you know it immediately. But if you're not sure yet, you need a person of trust, and that might be a friend or a design peer. Sometimes I also ask my students, which is nice because I criticize them, and it's nice to give them an opportunity to criticize me back. And critique is something very valuable. I really like it. But I have a shop owner, and I have no problem asking her what she thinks about it or what she thinks is the show, and that's really super.
Yeah. So like you can right now have a picture and just ask her opinion, right? And to your point, that facilitates the communication. Very interesting. And what do you feel like is needed in the fashion ecosystem to really facilitate the on-demand production model with the tools that are available now?
Eventually the thing is in knitwear I see chance because machines can kind of, if you have a specialist that can translate it, I think you can kind of do it. When it comes to woven products, I just have to say it like it is. Fabrics are not available forever, and you don't know when you're getting them. And if you have them, maybe it's just patience what we need. Because I think on-demand production is great because I can see that I get fabrics, but then it's a limited amount. But I think limited editions are fine. And I think this thought of constant availability of everything is probably what we have to stop. It's all right if you wait for something a little bit longer.
Yeah. Or if it's not available anymore, right?
Yeah, or if it's not available anymore, it might be in a different fabric.
Yeah.
But if it's not available anymore, that's fine.
If you had a magic wand to redesign the curriculum, what would you do in today's world of AI?
Well, AI is not the fashion's biggest problem, so I would really focus on sustainable practice. If I have one choice, it would be eliminated economies of scale. Nature never said take two, pay once. So you can make only money if you produce a lot, and that's something I would change. I would really focus on small production and produce what we can sell.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And do you think that the tools you have now in place would enable that model to a new level?
I hope so. I'm not sure how it will be implemented because right now AI is mainly used to make everything more efficient and save more money. That is great. I mean, there is a sustainability side of it. I mean, you can actually produce things digitally and if they don't sell, you never produce them at all. I think that's a great idea. And I think, again, through pandemic and all the delivery problems, we got used to waiting a bit longer for our product. So that's maybe a chance. But on a creation side, I think it will be another counterpart, like for reflecting your ideas. But I still think it's great to do it in real life with your peers. So, but I think it will work as an extra tool. You also ask for what I wish for. Currently, it's just this time. You can't help me because I think what we have to go back with is to actually not immediately storytell and put everything out there. I think AI can be a great tool to develop something with yourself. Because also when using AI, you kind of need time to grow together with the tool, befriend yourself with the tool, and see what aesthetic comes from it. And also, I really think aesthetic needs time to grow. But when it comes to co-creation, maybe there is an opportunity to like form small groups where you can actually share your designs and really talk about it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So right now, also I'm using only the Fabricants tool, and I still think I'm not good enough at using it yet. So, or we have to become better friends. That's how I like to put it. And I think I go to my account and I show stuff, but maybe it would just be good to create a peer community where we can actually really in a safe environment discuss these things. And it doesn't it doesn't need to be a person I know.
Right.
Could also be something for the community. So that's something which is also from teaching perspective quite nice.
Interesting.
Because in education you really learn from other students, and you need to know the feedback on how does the common other see your stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, there's my world and how interpret it and where I'm coming from, but we also we're collective, so I would like to know what other people think about it. I think that's kind of a nice tool.
That's interesting. And if you would like launch your label today, how would what would you do differently with again with the way that the market is, but also with the technology that's available for you?
Actually, not much. not much. I thought the flexibility I kept, and I will always keep this. There was always the question: are you a real fashion label if you produce on a regular basis, and if you show twice a year, and you sell that and that amount, or you go to Paris? I don't see that fashion necessarily has to be that way. Some people think so. I don't think so. I still don't think so. What I see the possibility to just create digitally or just to show stuff, not even producing things, because then it's for me it's still fashion because it's not art. But I also not necessarily see the point to really create a lot, but it's really cool if people wear your stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really nice. It's really nice.
Would technology enable a different business model for you?
That's what I'm trying right now a little bit, and that's we talked about it in the summer. It's not ready yet, so you're a bit too early with the interview. So I started doing like sketches in knitwear and asking my knitwear producer, which is really close and local in Vienna, to do me samples, because I really want to see how that works. Because with knitwear, and especially if there are electronic machines, it actually, I mean, once it's in there and you got the material, you could make more. And I think that's a really great opportunity. When it comes to woven fabrics, I don't think it's so easy. But then again, with digital printing, you could do it, but there's so much other fabrics that are not digital printed, which I really love, and I would not like to do without it.
Right. So it would be more a palette of choices. Maybe you have a few that are on demand, and a few that you would still need to produce some units.
Yes. And I don't mind that things are sold out. I mean, I can reproduce stuff in a different fabric, and then it's like series. I mean, furniture does that since forever. In general, I think, fashion has a lot to learn from furniture, I think.
Because that is a very interesting perspective.
Yes, when you think about iconic chairs that are 100 years old, I like fashion to be that way, and we have it. We have a trench coat. It slightly changes, but I think there are quite a couple of successful designers that have their blouse or their underwear or their wrap dress. But I think it is totally okay to not waste your ideas and produce them more often or in different fabrics, just like sofas would come out again and again in a different fabric, because after a while things, I mean, you tweak on it a little bit, it gets a little bit better or it gets a little bit modern, and I think there should be like modern classics, and lots of designers should have their modern classics and sell them again and again. And then how can AI help it? I mean, you can at least envision different fabrics from it, or maybe different proportions, but in industry terms, I think that there's a lot to learn also on how you can actually not throw your idea away. It's really, you have one and you can work on it and use it more often.
So, as an educator, how are you nurturing the new generation of designers to develop their modern classics?
Well, as an educator, it still is a lot of work. I think design education is a lot of work because you have to develop and sharpen your eye and get a handwriting or your style. And then again, your style is not something you can protect. So you have to focus on something that's so clear, visibly for other people that it will be associated with you. And first creating, it has actually, then again, it has also like understanding what society needs. I still think that's very important. In the last years, we've noticed lots of like me designs, like we do things for ourselves, we want things for ourselves, but I think still the question of what design would I give it to society is super important, and it's a very good training to see what apart from my surrounding is out there. So that's one on what we focus on training. And then there is always, I think trends is still very important. Because you have to see what it is about. It's not about something colors, but it's also and colors, lengths, what zippers are we using, what kind of crochet or embroidery we're using, but it's still about why are we doing this right now. So, but not forgetting about really trying to be innovative in just the look. And it's not just the look, it's really something, yes, you have to have a strong concept, but you also have to see how that translates into you in the you and now. And that is a lot of feedback and a lot of actually creating. And that can be drawing, that can be experimenting, that can be using AI, and that also includes words and saying what you're doing. And through AI, I think that's the biggest change. The like technical terms we're using and the words we're actually using, and I'm not meaning superficial words, like really intensely describing the atmosphere, the mood, what we really talk about.
Oh, I love it. So basically, it kind of challenges these young designers to actually be more thoughtful in the process, right? Because it reflects immediately what they have in mind. So that kind of iterative process can be visualized, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, and you immediately see it in AI. I noticed that they're really killer words. If you write elegant, it's so random that you're not getting what you want, but there's so much. There's elegant conservative, there's elegant sophisticated, there's so elegant in the summer and elegant in the winter. There's so many elegance and classics and sophisticated that it doesn't help in the AI creation, but it also doesn't help just in you knowing what I talk about. So we need a lot of references. And that is words, but that is also visuals. And that's also references we can all draw on. Might it be music, videos, movies. And that hasn't changed so much. It doesn't, also AI needs it. AI needs to know what's the cool movie, what's Polly Magoo, or I don't know. Students always love Clockwork Orange sometimes.
That's the classic as well. But I love what you're saying, which is, very often I get confronted with this nervousness of young designers, especially like AI is going to steal my job. And I think what you're saying is actually, no, it's the same just with a support, with a new tool that allows you to visualize your ideas better, but your ideas are still the main thing, right? Your source is still the main thing. Well, let's
more thing. It's a tool I found quite good, super, and that is it reminds me of being a fashion student and going through lots of magazines, because I don't only use, and that's really maybe the advice for young designers, use AI to play with it, because sometimes for a long time you don't get what you want, but it's also like skipping through a magazine. There's nothing you like, and then I don't want AI necessary to give me what I want. I wanted to give me something I couldn't think of, and that takes a while.
Yeah.
So if you work with it for a while and you put in weird stuff, eventually you get something weird that surprises you. And I didn't know I was looking for it, and that's the really cool point, that you have to use the tool so long until you get to that point, because then when it gets interesting and surprises, and then it inspires you back.
Yeah, it's like what he says, like it needs to be a companionship, a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my last question to you, Valérie, is what's the message you would like to share with the fashion industry about the future?
The message about the future for the fashion industry, I think, produce less, but have more fun with it. Yes. There is something like the power of the basics. I don't think we have enough basics. We need fun stuff and less of it.
This is the Digital Weave, a space where I sit down with the creators and innovators reshaping fashion through technology. Here, we dive into their real stories, from brands and makers who are using tech to build labels and systems that are more sustainable, more profitable, and uniquely their own. This series is all about sharing their journeys to spark ideas for yours. The Digital Weave is powered by the Fabricant, a leading fashion tech company rewriting fashion through AI.